E for marketwizards.com and e-minningwizard.com, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. It's nearing the end of IB, 22nd February 2019. Looking at market structure, this is one of the spreadsheets that we use. We can identify unique levels of support and resistance. And this was a chart that I'd posted yesterday suggesting top of the pipe up here was our key resistance for now. Support should be the 63, 68, and this is cut in stone. This is not relative to the market. This is a grid, what I call market structure, that's already known, that we already can use. And think of this as the lines on a football field. They're already there. We already know where these lines are, the hash marks on the field. And then we put and move the chains and the ball up and down, but those levels are going to remain constant. And the beauty of this is once you understand these ideas, you can apply this to other trading vehicles too, depending on where you are in market structure. So most traders react to the actual movement of price, and that's all that matters. But we already know these areas ahead of time before markets even get there. We already know that this should be a support area. And this is not predictive, but this is something that will tell us where we are. It's like a roadmap. So as long as the market is above this 64, it's moving, trying to get back, if it can, to this level at 88. Next level we know is 93. That's really the flipper right there. And then obviously there's this 98 zone that it held. So all we know right now is we're building a high-level base. And as long as this level holds, then the market still wants to try to get up and retest these levels for either retest failure or a new high. So step by step, we need to pay attention to these levels. And for those that like the idea of order flow and volume profile, you can see where this 70 had held on from overnight. Took out that 78 area. And finally, come back up into this range that did not get a lot of activity. This is fast down territory. Remember, we had the news type event, and we had the push up, push down, second leg down, and then trap and go. All done in low overnight volume. So realistically, if we're looking back at a level that is held and been an important level, we can see the 72 and 72s and the lows in here and 72s. So they've been using that to try to squeeze higher. And you'll recognize that obviously as the aqueduct idea that we talked about yesterday. So far we have the first range, the IB. We had the range that we thought that we would stay within for IB. We had suggested let's use 78 and 88 and trade that range, and that works out. Now, if you were shorting 81s and 79s, you had a tough morning. And if you were trying to buy 87s, 88s, you've had a tough morning. So it's not just about the range, but the idea is let's get the range and then see what we can do within it. And the rising moving averages have pushed up to do the retest idea at the top. And we said today, yeah, yesterday was for testing support. We'd said today looks like we're testing for resistance. And in a way, the best way I know to understand that concept, look at a little bit bigger chart, test and support. Now today, testing resistance. And if you want to get your immediate range rather than the bigger range, then go to your overnight and look at your overnight range and say, okay, so here's my middle. So if we're testing the resistance range, then really we're talking about the upper half of the day's range. Whereas yesterday we said, looks like we're going to test for support. It's as simple as that. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Thrust up, pull back, first time back to the 456 should hold. So they've already protected 77. Just by knowing that. So that gives any first time pullback buyers an edge if the trade works. No guarantee it's going to work. And we've got obviously the notion that we try to make our 4 or 5 points every day, one per contract for one contract. Obviously, if you're doing multiples, that's fine if your account size can handle it. And then you could care less what the market does because you're trying to take pieces of the swings. So if I'm really saying let's think about the middle of this range from yesterday before anything else, then realistically I'm going to be looking here to that line, and I'm going to be looking to back here at this line, and I'm going to say, okay, that's the meat. Above that, the stronger resistance area, stronger support area. And that's the basis for me saying today, this little double back here that held, that's an important support. Just based on looking at this chart. So 72. That's why we started with, okay, 72 support today. And then you got to break this 89 to 92. Don't make it any more complicated than that. I'd also suggested think small this first hour. Don't think we're going to get a big pounding, because probably not. The case can be made for both sides today. Problem for the shorts is they have to undermine squeeze pivots. In that chart I showed you earlier, kind of identified what I thought were the squeeze pivots. Range type trading. There's a 5-minute chart. You'll note we got back to the rain line. This was our first identifiable squeeze pivot zone. We said, make sure you are paid right here, this area. That would tend to be supportive. My phone loves to talk to me. Okay, and we said if this breaks, then the 77 pivot point. Key idea, and just below it, right in here, this you can see where this turned overnight. Traders have been squeezed from that point. And traders have been squeezed from this platform right there. And so this represents obviously the gap zone. So I tend to look at at these type of bars and where they turn, and then I try to bring it back up to something like a 10-minute chart. And it helps me to see these locations where a black bar and a white bar reverse themselves. Very hard to get through 4 lines all at once. Green, red, blue, magenta. And you can see how this is just chugging around in this 82 to 78 area from yesterday to today. If we lose this, another story. This was the wrecking ball trade. We said we tend to get snaps from an umbrella trade. We said it wasn't a true umbrella trade. And then at the end of the day, they throw this up here to try to get back into the shorts pocket. So I'm still thinking that we have limited opportunity. Said that early today. I think limited opportunity. Stolen range. This area down here has been stolen for now. Like they say, don't shoot the messenger.